Over the years, many render engines came and went, but some of them stand out because they had a huge following. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys about the most important render engines that are not used anymore, meaning they are discontinued. I'm going to start with Ray. Ray was everywhere in its heyday. This is actually personal for me because it was the first render engine I used. For a long time, it was the default built-in renderer in major 3D software such as Max, Maya, and Softimage. And if you were doing VFX or animation in the 2000s, chances are you started with Ray, and artists loved it a lot for its production quality output. It was really capable for advanced effects, stuff like global illumination, ray tracing, etc. And it was even used on big movies like The Hulk, The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, Star Wars Episode 2, The Day After Tomorrow, and Poseidon, in addition to many others. Over time though, new renderers like V-Ray and Arnold emerged with more modern approaches and even easier workflows, which, as you can imagine, gradually eroded Ray's dominance. Autodesk eventually replaced Ray with Arnold as the default in Max and Maya around 2017. NVIDIA, who owned Ray officially, discontinued it at that same year, not because people didn't use it, but I think NVIDIA did a poor job at keeping it alive and keeping it up to date, because they had other plans with their render engine called Iray, which ironically nobody is using today, except a couple of 3D software. Brazil Rendering System, or Brazil RS, was also a fan favorite in the early 2000s, especially for 3ds Max users, created by Splatterfish, which interestingly enough was a company created by Blur Studio veterans. Brazil earned a reputation for fast ray tracing and realistic global illumination, making high-end renders much more accessible. I remember in the late 2000s, it was everywhere, and it became a staple of many visual effects on architectural visualization pipelines especially, even finding its way into feature films like Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in addition to Sin City. Users loved Brazil for its quality and ease of use, compared to the other render engines. However, development of Brazil slowed after the company was acquired by larger companies. Newer engines like V-Ray, which surged in popularity, started to overshadow Brazil, and updates became infrequent. So in 2012, Brazil RS was officially put to rest. Its then owner Imagination Technologies announced the end of life of Brazil RS 2.0, effectively discontinuing the product. It was actually a bittersweet goodbye for fans, but by then, most of them had moved on to other render engines out there. Now let me tell you about YafRay. YafRay, short for Yet Another Free Ray Tracer, was an open source render engine that gained popularity with Blender users, especially in the mid-2000s. Back then, Blender's internal renderer didn't have full global illumination, so YafRay was kind of a handy way to get more realistic lighting and reflections. It was loved because it was free and could produce really interesting images by ray tracing, which felt like magic for Blender artists at the time. The interesting thing is that Blender even had a built-in option to export to YafRay for a while. Unfortunately though, YafRay's development stalled toward the end of the decade, the 2000s. Essentially, the original YafRay project stopped being maintained, and Blender removed direct support for it around version 2.49, and the community shifted to a successor called YafRay, which was an updated fork of the engine. Not too long after, Blender got its own render engine called Cycles, which further eclipsed these external render engines. Thus, YafRay slowly faded out. The Blender internal renderer, often called Blender Internal, was the built-in engine in Blender for many years. Basically, most of the renderers you saw in Blender before 2014 or so likely came from it. It was a scaneline and a rasterization engine, with some ray tracer bits, known for being fast and being flexible. Blender Internal could do things like cartoon shading, glossy reflections, and had an energy conservation global illumination hack, but it wasn't a physically accurate render engine, that is, by modern standards. You see, many long-time Blender users have a soft spot for it, since it is what they use for countless projects, back in the day. However, by the late 2010s, it was really showing its age. The code was over 25 years old and has become hard to maintain. Even Blender's creator Tom Rosendale noted that it was an aging component dating back to the 90s code, and that the new Eevee engine could completely replace its functionality. With Blender 2.8 release in 2019, the old internal render engine was finally removed from Blender, and this move made way for Cycles on Eevee to take over. Now I want to talk about a render engine by NVIDIA, which burst into the scene as one of the first easy-to-use GPU render engines. In the beginning, it looked great. It focused on physically based rendering and ran on video graphics cards, meaning if you had a decent GPU, you could get photorealistic results often faster than CPU rendering. Iray found its way into software like 3ds Max as a plugin, and it is notably used in tools like Death Studio for rendering realistic characters. Many hobbyists liked Iray because it was relatively straightforward. You just set up some lights and materials and hit render, and the GPU does the heavy lifting for you to give you a nice image. While Iray was never quite as ubiquitous as something like V-Ray, it had a period of hype when GPU rendering was a new hot thing. Over time though, the rendering landscape became more crowded. Engines like Octane, Redshift, and Blender Cycles, which are all GPU capable, gained a huge user base. NVIDIA also began shifting their focus to their new tech like real-time ray tracing and the Omniverse platform, which offer more interactive and scalable solutions. As a result, Iray's development slowed down, and it kinda slipped from the spotlight, to be honest. Some specific Iray integrations were even discontinued. For example, NVIDIA dropped their Iray plugin for Cinema 4D back in 2017, and today Iray is still around, in certain forms only, like in some specific CAD software, but also two notable 3D examples, including Death Studio and Substance Painter as a preview renderer. Other than that, it is just an afterthought. Another interesting render is called NOX Render, which was released by Evermotion, a company focused on ArchViz scenes in addition to models. They released it as a free tool for the community, first appearing in the early 2010s. NOX was an unbiased physically based render engine, much like high-end render engines such as Maxwell or Indigo. Because it was free, it attracted hobbyists who wanted photorealistic results without shelling out for expensive software. It had exporters for 3ds Max and Blender, so you could set up a scene that rendered it in NOX for a nice quality output. While the idea was promising, NOX remained somewhat niche. Other free render engines like LuxScore were also around, and Blender Cycles showed up and stole a lot of users. Evermotion did update NOX a few times, adding features like instancing and normal map support, but it never achieved wide adoption in the industry. Eventually, Evermotion decided to stop active development, and they even made NOX open source for the community, so they could tinker with it, but no major development took off. As of now, NOX is basically a discontinued project. By the end of the video, I think you noticed a trend here. Big companies such as NVIDIA discontinue a lot of software, and they alone discontinued 3 render engines on this list. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.